That's right, folks, Ubisoft's Hacker series is back with Watch Dogs 2. Taking place in San Francisco, California, you play as Marcus, a young hacker trying to clear his name and show that he can run with the best of the best in this particular field. You join up with DedSec and begin to shock the world with all the activities that you do, exposing truths and targeting groups out there, until a man named Dusan working for Bloom and the FBI gets to you and targets DedSec. Now it's up to you and your gang of friends to clear your name and expose Bloom and Dusan once and for all in Watch Dogs 2. What's returning in Watch Dogs 2 is the online hacking from the previous title, where you can hack someone, be hacked, or engage in a multitude of online hacking events such as Bounty Hunt mode, or a brand new mode in Watch Dogs 2 itself, the seamless online co-op. Now you and the player can go around tearing up San Francisco and doing co-op missions together that involve a campaign of its own. Watch Dogs 2 take the old online hacking and bring something new to the table, while giving you something even newer to the table with this online co-op and seamless online play. Also featured new in Watch Dogs 2 is plenty of side stuff to have fun with. Having an Uber-like app called Drive San Francisco where you can make money and do side missions where you have to drop people off at various locations, meeting between the weird, crazy, and cool people. Also, you have another app on here for side missions called Scout X, where you take pictures for an app to get yourself followers for more gestures, sightseeing around San Fran, and plenty of other things to occupy your time within Watch Dogs 2. Every day. Now see, from what I was expecting from Watch Dogs 2, I kind of sort of semi-expected because of Watch Dogs 1 and what they had, but they took what they had from Watch Dogs 1, slapped a whole new emphasis on it, began to give you something completely different, and they gave you something completely innovative and new in Watch Dogs 2. There was some changes around from the first one to the second one, but Watch Dogs 2 really emphasized the changes upon that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you, the pros. My first pro for Watch Dogs 2 is that the graphics for this game is pretty good. From cutscene to end game, it's a wonderful job done where they made the game look extremely good. The cutscenes of Watch Dogs 2 look beautiful at times, from the simple stuff working along the background to what's even going in within the cutscene itself. The in-game graphics looking good as well. Watch Dogs 2 does a phenomenal job graphically and does an overall great job with the graphics showing off everything they need to show. It's definitely a pro for me. My next pro for Watch Dogs 2 is that the game and story contains a lot of human, extremely funny moments within Watch Dogs 2. It isn't a beat, miss, forced joke, or terrible moment within the Watch Dogs 2 writing for when it's actually going to be funny. It actually drops a lot of gems here and there between cutscenes. Ubisoft actually shines in the writing and jokes department of Watch Dogs 2 as one of the strongest places in this game. Marcus and company are really funny people throughout the game, cutscene, side conversations, or whatever. It's definitely a pro for me. My next pro for Watch Dogs 2 is that the puzzles in this game to decrypt something is actually a lot more tougher than the first Watch Dogs. Ubisoft upped the difficulty on these puzzles and built it into something much more tougher as the puzzle widens up, being all around the rooms to solve this time, or even going up the side of a building, or even being the size of an entire server room, or even being in space. Watch Dogs 2 has some crazy puzzles to solve that's not only fun but also incredibly tough. It is definitely a pro for me. My last and final pro for Watch Dogs 2 is that the online co-op and multiplayer is really fun. Whether you're running ramp on the streets of San Francisco with a friend, or tagging along on to do a mission, or even going to hack someone somewhere, Watch Dogs 2 really has some of the best moments within the multiplayer itself. It's fun, it's dope, fantastic, and just can really make the game itself when you guys are doing something, whether you're tearing up the streets or whether you're just causing violence. This really makes the game, and it's definitely a pro for me. Now see, as I was playing through Watch Dogs 2, I happened to notice that there was a lot going on within this game that did have some problems. Mostly for Watch Dogs 2, it was the main meat of the game itself that was really having some problems. It was some things about Watch Dogs 2 that was great, but then after you really begin to notice that, hey, this game really does suffer from some issues within the presence of what it's trying to give you entirely. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the cons. My first con for Watch Dogs 2 is that the story and the antagonist is pretty weak. While the story has some strong moments from the action points and some crazy missions here and there, it falls flat on its face because that's moments that come few and far between some fetch missions and some missions that's pretty unneeded to begin with. And the antagonist of Watch Dogs 2 is pretty plain. He really isn't a threatening antagonist, he's just kind of there watching in the background. Not truly making anything happen, even a character to fear. He's just kind of there to be there. It's definitely a con for me. My next con is that Watch Dogs 2 followed the same issues as Watch Dogs 1. The soundtrack for this game is still pretty underwhelming compared to other counterparts. There's certain cuts that's catchy on here like Outkast, Eric B and Rakim, E40, Led Zeppelin, and a few others, but then you go back to underground cuts and unknown guys that throws off the whole West Coast vibe that this game should be giving you from the soundtrack alone. It always misses an opportunity as the first Watch Dogs follows suit in the same soundtrack issues and miss another opportunity. It's a con for me. My next con for Watch Dogs 2 is that the controls feel awkward sometimes and that the new additions feel unnecessary, and so does the things they took away. Watch Dogs 2 controls kind of feel awkward. It's like they took methods from Assassin's Creed kinda and put them on weird buttons. The parkour is on right trigger instead of using A. The hacking involves you using extra buttons down to make something happen, and they streamlined the inventory system, taking away how many guns and gadgets you can use. Too many unnecessary additions and takeaways that kinda mess with the flow. It's a con for me. My last and final con for Watch Dogs 2 is that despite the funny moments and awesome action scenes within the campaign, sometimes the story does honestly feel like it's dragging. Like it has a moment of asking when is this going to end instead of locking you in like it should. Watch Dogs 2 is great in certain aspects, but the campaign is slow and feels like it's too long with too many unnecessary unneeded mission moments. It has opportunities that's missed and untouched, but we'll never get to see the true potentials as it feels pointless and long really. It's definitely a con for me. But all in all, Watch Dogs 2 is a pretty good game. From the good graphics to the well-written humor to the difficult hacking puzzles and the fun-as-hell online multiplayer, it is really done nicely. But with the weak campaign, boring villain, poor soundtrack, awkward controls, and extremely dragging story, it can get pretty old quickly sometimes itself. But I'll be giving Watch Dogs 2 a 3.5 out of 5. Alright guys, that concludes my Watch Dogs 2 review. Stay tuned because I have many more reviews for you guys coming from Final Fantasy 15, The Last Guardian, Dead Rising 4, and many more reviews that I can't even name. Also, a PSX recap video will be posted up as well, so stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the next review, which will be on Batman episode 4 and 5. Also, if you haven't seen any of the Let's Plays, they'll all be in the description box below. You can watch all of them and peep out the next video, which will be up soon. So until next time, until the next review guys, so tune in, turn up, and throw down. I'm out.